Well, let's say that you know the school, you know the timing. Let's talk about application. So when do you apply? Well, just in general, things start a lot earlier than you might think, and you want to give yourself at least 12 months before the application. Not only to do the application, but also to continue to get that experience, get those interviews with students, get those internships, volunteer experiences, build your application up. And note that it varies from program to program. So if one school they want it your application due by December, don't assume that that's the calendar that all other schools operate on. Do your research, maybe get some sort of table lined up with your different schools and when you have to apply for them by. The different things that are usually involved in an application would be that obviously the actual application, but also the college transcript, GRE or another standardized test score if necessary. Letters of recommendation. This is really big. I'd encourage you to be thinking about this now. Not only professors that can recommend you, but maybe also professional recommendations. So people that you have worked for or worked with. Um, Maybe if you're going into some sort of theological study, someone within your church, you want to make sure you get people who know you well and would give you a quality recommendation, and that they would be looked upon highly in the community that you're applying for. Your personal statement, we'll have a separate webinar on that here in on our YouTube channel, but for right now, you can just know that that's basically like a cover letter. It's synonymous to a cover letter for a career opportunity, and then your resume. Different entrance exams here, I have them listed, and your Kaplan site that I mentioned earlier will be helpful to you so you can find out which ones, if any, you would need to take. Practice exams can be found on these 4 websites. CapTest is put on by Kaplan. These other 3 are also very quality areas to practice your tests. All right, you're selected based on your GPA, your purpose statement, your previous experience, and test scores. Different schools will weight these differently. Some schools are all about the GPA. Some schools are all about the purpose statement. Sometimes different individuals within the same school will disagree. Some admissions counselors might really want your previous experience. Some admissions counselors might want your test scores. It really depends. So the basic idea is do your very best in all of these areas. But note that in their head, they're thinking, am I going to want to claim this student when they're done? So are they going to want to claim you? Meaning, when you graduate, are you going to talk highly about their school? When you graduate, are you going to be successful so much so that people ask, where did you go to school? Because I want to do exactly what you do. Um, those are the people that we want. They basically want cheerleaders for their school who are graduating and going to be walking billboards for their graduate program. Most schools accept on a rolling basis. Some are on a comparative basis. You can find this out through the admissions program at the specific schools you're interested in. What if you don't get in? This is a big possibility and it happens a lot. Think about these different things. Applying earlier, applying to more schools, more safe schools, kind of those backup ones you can for sure get into. Visit the school and let them get to know you. Try out a summer school program if they have one available, or a class if they have one available that could make your application stand out a little bit more. Volunteer and internship experiences are great. So is working in a real job in a targeted field. You can get an in-between degree if that's applicable for your area of study and just continue to try again. The one thing not listed on here though, that I actually think is the biggest is if you don't get into a school, call them. Call them and ask and just say, I'm really interested in your school. I want to reapply again next year. What are some things that I could work on? And all of the admissions counselors that I've talked to suggest that this is the greatest way to get an inside look at why they turned you down. Maybe they had simply a numbers issue and they had to turn down a certain amount of students. Maybe they noticed that your work experience wasn't as solid as they would like it to be. Instead of doing the guesswork, just call them and let them tell you. They'll be honest with you and they'll shoot you straight because they want to help you as you develop. So call back the schools you don't get into, ask them what you can improve on, and then take action to do those things.